How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Tokyowzc, back with another episode of Q Hughes Presents Tokyowzc with Friends. Now, on this episode, I flew out to LA, met up with my guy, William Archetype, David Boast, whatever you want to call him, down at Hotel Irwin on Venice Beach. One of my favorite places to stay when I'm out in California is Venice Beach, Hotel Irwin. I love it. Hospitality is great. The scenery is great. It's right next to the boardwalk. So that's another conversation. But right now we're focusing on David, William Archetype. So he is a writer, director. We've done a few projects back when we were in St. Louis, just, young, creative, trying to find a way. Now this episode, I'm learning, all right? Just know that I'm learning, so bear with me. So I'm starting out with these new DJI clip-on mics. Now, David, he asked me, he said, hey man, you think it's cool if I put the mic on my book bag strap here? I was like, yeah, all right, I think it's cool. His audio is a little muffled. My audio is perfect because, of course, I knew where to set mine. But no, all jokes aside, bear with the audio on this one. David had his up here, so I worked it as good as I could, tried to work my magic, but the episode is still great. Tune into it. Make sure you follow William. Make sure you check out the DJI mics. These are great. The next episode, I will make sure I work out those kinks and know exactly where to place the mics, all right? Just bear with me on this one, all right? Tokyowzc with Friends. Let's get to the show, man. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Tokyowzc here with another episode of Tokyowzc with Friends. Now, these episodes are geared more towards the professionals of LinkedIn. I'm collaborating with a lot of my friends that are out in Los Angeles, California right now. One of my friends is sitting here, right here with me. He's actually from St. Louis. We're both from St. Louis, but I'll let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
So it's William Archetype. St. Louis, like you just said. Living in LA about 4 years now. So I'm a director, photographer, DP, a little bit of a writer. So yeah.
So, I know most of your story. All right. Now the people watching right now, they don't really know your story. I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people that do. But for the people watching right now of LinkedIn and of the YouTube world, kind of explain what got you into videography and photography, because when we met, I believe the video that we shot or were shooting, I'm trying to think, which one was it? Were we just shooting? We started out just shooting a documentary. What, didn't we? Yeah. It was a documentary, which came out pretty good, and we just kind of collaborated on stuff from there. Yeah, absolutely, man. But what got you into it? Like, was it?
I didn't really pick up a camera really until like my senior year of high school.
Okay.
I was like playing baseball and a couple other things, trying to find my way in high school as we all are. But I always like really, was into movies, into stories, and just really into like feelings and emotions for the most part. And film, I felt, was my best way to the best medium to get those emotions and those feelings out in the best way possible. So, my mom bought me a Panasonic, where they used to have you put the little small discs in.
Yes, yeah, and it had the strap.
This is like so foreign now because he's so far ahead now.
You had to slide your hand in the strap.
Yeah, yep. So she bought me one of those, 17, and I was just kind of documenting stuff like, basketball practices and like interviewing people in high school and stuff like that. And then I started kind of like getting more into like watching actual, like, I guess the cinema films, like the more like the AFI Criterion Collection films, stuff like that. And really what did it for me was watching The Departed, the Martin Scorsese film. That was really the moment I was like, how everybody has that one where it's like you saw that movie and it was like the big bang for you.
Yeah.
That was my movie.
That was your big bang. That was that moment. You were like, okay, I want to do this.
Exactly. Because I like the duality. I'm always a duality that like my production company is the other side films. So I like try to deal with the two sides of life, the two sides of like we all got this duality thing going on.
Okay, so now that was going to be one of my questions, but since you just dived right into it, I'm diving right into it too. Okay. So you went by William Archetype? Archetype. So that's when I met you. Yeah. And I was wondering when it switched over to the Other Side Films and what was the reasoning for the Other Side Films. So you're saying just the duality behind filming is what brought that about.
Well, yeah. Well, the whole just the duality of life. Like we all got good and evil in us, masculine, feminine. You know what I'm saying? And then just delving into just like the other side of just things that we go through. You know, they say we only use about 25% of our brain power. Yeah. You know, so just using that other side can just bring things to life that like helping people and like you know, like all these different things that you may not know of yourself if you never like reach and like tap into that other side of like your body, your brain, your soul, your mind, everything like that. So I try to like tap into those type of things when I'm like, you know, creating projects and stuff like that.
So I know you mentioned Martin Scorsese. Yeah. Who would you say? Would you say, like for me, creative wise, you know, I always give Jay-Z his flowers. You know, not only because you know I did music at one point in time, but it's just the bigger picture of you know him wanting to get a record deal. Nobody would sign him. He had to put his own, you know, finances and team together and create his own label, build, and then all of the labels that told him no now wanted him. But he, at that point, hey, I'm fine. I'm okay. You know what I mean? I did what I needed to do without your help. But of course, he kind of connected with Def Jam because it made sense. And then kind of built from there. But him taking that and then laddering up the scale to just venture off into so many different businesses to where, you know, he's picking the performers for the Super Bowl. Now, which is huge. It's one thing to perform at the Super Bowl, but it's another thing to pick the performers. He picks Dr. Dre. And little fun fact, you probably already know, but you know the Still DRE? Yeah. You know Jay-Z wrote that record? So you think about like how that comes back tenfold for him. Not only did he pick the person to perform, but the person that he picked is performing a record that he wrote. You know what I mean? So he's performing without even. Shot in the crowd when he was rapping the words. Yeah. That was kind of. I bet that was a
full circle moment.
Exactly, man. So it's just creatives like Jay-Z, businessmen like Jay-Z are some of the reason why I do what I do, and I kind of just watch their blueprint, and no pun intended. Blueprint. Yeah, I watch the blueprint and just kind of take what I can take from it and you know apply myself and apply it to what I'm doing. So who is your Jay-Z? Would you say it's Martin, or do you have someone else that you say you kind of pluck from? Because we, as creatives, we're plucking from everywhere.
Yeah. I would, I could say Scorsese would probably be my hoe for sure, because what I try to do and what he like really like mastered was getting into like these character pieces, these character studies. So you look at like his filmography from his, this wasn't his first film, but like from his first like film with notoriety, which was Mean Streets, he kind of delve into this character that was like, you know, in the mob, and was like on the outskirts of it, and you know what I'm saying? It kind of dealt with his own you know, journey in this space that he kind of felt a little like odd in, you know, and he kind of kept with that character through all his films. So you go through like Taxi Driver, you go to Raging Bull, and then you go to what's that? Not King of New York. What's the other De Niro film? But you go to Goodfellas, and you go to you go to Casino, then you go to like The Aviator, you go to, you know what I'm saying? Is this similar theme within all these characters that deal with guilt, that deal with family issues, that deal with all these things of being like in this like uh, psychological drama or trauma that they have to like kind of like eventually like get out of. You know what I mean? And that was so interesting of a study to me that I wanted to do the same thing. The only difference with me is I want to do that with black people.
Right.
Because he was, you know, he kept it like, you know, all Italian. He was Italian. So I wanted to do that same kind of thing. So I connected with him probably more so, you know, as far as like characters is concerned, probably than anybody else. And Spike, you know, was a that was kind of really his mentor coming in. He kind of did the same thing.
I can see that, and you know a Spike Lee film when you see one. He has the the escalator shot, or not escalator. We know what I'm talking about. Treadmill shot. When you watch one of his movies, you know what you're going to get. And when he puts out a movie, you're going to watch it, and you're not going to expect nothing different from it, and you're still going to enjoy it. Yeah. So with you saying, you know, Mark, he kind of has this pattern of the same subject matter, so to speak, but you're going to enjoy it at the end of the day. And that's how I do feel like that with his albums, like one of my favorites.
And that's how you know, like, you got your own style.
Yeah.
You got your own thing. And you know how to grow with the genre.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like even with like we was talking with Hov, like, you know, that's how you know it's a sign of you being great, is because Hov has grown obviously to like the classic tale of like street corner to corner office, but he never lost that small theme, not even small, but that theme of like hustling and business and like having a group of people right there by your side. From Reasonable Doubt all the way to 444, he kept that same theme in there, even though he interchanged it a lot throughout all these different albums and all these different eras and things like that. He kept that same small piece of thing, exactly. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Like Kendrick has kept that small piece of like analyzing the black man, you know what I'm saying, in the struggle position. And it's like, you know, you're great when you like keep that same kind of thing, but you can grow and have these different atmospheres, I guess, to tell your story in the same sense that we told it when you first got in the game. Absolutely. You know, so Scorsese, he's definitely like somebody that I like analyze, and I go back and, you know, I've probably seen The Departed like probably 50 times at this point, you know what I'm saying?
That's how I feel about Scarface. Like, I was like, listen, man, at the same apartment that I had over in Maryland Heights, remember that one? Yeah, like I used to just sit and watch Scarface like maybe once a week, because it seemed like there's some films that I'm noticing that when I watch it again, I catch something else. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why I don't catch these things the first time. I catch something the first time and I'm like, oh man, that has me stuck. And I'll watch it again and I'll be like, oh wait, well that's why that happened. I didn't even, you know what I mean? You get what yeah. It's, I didn't like, and that's, you know, when I was younger, my aunt and uncle in the 90s, we would always go to, do you remember the theater in Olive? Like, I think it's West Olive 14 or something like, yeah. Yeah, so we would always go there. Like, even before like the renovation where they had like the new seats and the recline, like we would always go there every weekend. I just remember all the like seeing Star Wars Episode 1, seeing a Rugrats movie, seeing the Big Lebowski. I remember seeing all of these movies, and that's what kind of made me fall in love with watching films and watching movies. Because, you know, a lot of kids, you know, I would go to school the very that following Monday, because we would go on a Saturday, and I'd be talking about this movie, and in my mind, I'm thinking their families are taking them as well. Yeah. They weren't. You know, I was blessed that, you know, my uncle loved to go to the movies, so I was able to watch all of these films. But no, it's just amazing how somebody can set up a camera direct and create a story. You know, I make music, so I shouldn't be too surprised at that. But you know how it is. Yeah. Me trying to get everybody here for these interviews. Yeah, yeah. You were the only one that really showed up, and the guy from Hulu. You know what I mean? So the fact that he can, like certain directors can cast, you have to cast right, because you know, one personality might not fit with this personality, or this personality might not fit with this role, this character. So all of these things come into, you know, into play. But a lot of people give praises to the actors, and you know, kudos to the actors, kudos to the writers. But it seems like directors may have, would you say they have the toughest job on set?
I believe so. Yeah, because for one, I think that when you're a director, like everything matters in the shot. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that some people like kind of take advantage of that and not understand really what's going on. That like the light being here plays a hand in the story. The shade being here, the shadow being here plays a hand in the story. How the camera's position on the person's face tells like a mood, you know. And those are all the decisions by the director. Right. You know what I mean? Like now he like, you know, talks to his DP, he talks to his art director, he talks to, you know, all these different people. But ultimately he's making all the decisions to be like, look, this is what this character needs to push forward and to, you know, keep his art going. And this is what this protagonist needs to make sure that he does this, and what this antagonist needs. Like, if you like really, really sit back and like you said, when you watch a movie like 15, 20 times, you pick up on so many different things. This is something that the director is sitting there like, okay, he needs to be this, this, and this. Like, it's very, very poignant, you know what I'm saying, on that like Stanley Kubrick, who did, you know, Clockwork Orange, he did 2001, he did Eyes Wide Shut. They said, and some people like criticize him, but they say he used to take like 67 takes sometimes because he was so adamant on like what he saw and what he needed to see to make sure that like this wasn't a wasted scene, or this scene didn't connect with whatever's going on. Right. Every single scene needs to connect in some way to some part of this person's journey to get what he wants in this story. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that, yeah, director is definitely the most important, especially because directors can be great directors and then they can write. Like Tarantino wrote all his movies, you know what I mean? I didn't know. And he's a great director, but he's won two writing, the best screenplay Oscars. But when a writer is a director, it usually doesn't pan off well. The movie usually is kind of critically panned, and you know it's not, you know, appeased amongst the commercial audience either. Because when you put something to pen, it's like you're seeing it in a different way than what the director sees. The director's seeing it in frame and in like reality, and the writer is seeing it like in the unknown, if that makes sense.
Yes. No,
you get what I mean?
No, for sure.
Yeah, it's like when they say like designers sometimes like fashion designers aren't the best dressed people. Because they're looking at it outside of like how a stylist is looking at it. Okay. He's seeing it like in the unknown of like, okay, I know this pattern, I know this, I know how to put this on this mannequin. And the stylist is like, okay, I know how it's going to fit. Exactly. Exactly.
That might look good as a color scheme to you, and the design of it may look good, but this person's body type, it's not going to look good on this person's body type.
Exactly. You know, so people are like analyzing in their genre, in their medium, in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like a producer gonna hear a beat different than a rapper. Right. You know what I'm saying? A rapper would rap on it, and the producer like, "What you rapping on this? I hear it like this, but I'm hearing it like this." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like how whatever we do in these fields, we're trained in that mode to think like that, and it's not going to be the same as whoever we're working with.
No. So and one thing about that is it's always important to take, or not take lead, but let go of the reins and let the producer or director just follow suit. I posted a video the other day of Pharrell and Justin Timberlake in the studio making what was the name of that record? Like, don't be so quick to walk. And Pharrell is there like coaching him how to. And like when Justin says something, he's like, "Yes, that's it right there." Like, who knows how long it took them to? I didn't even know Pharrell produced that record. And Pharrell's my guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love Pharrell.
So he made that for Michael Jackson initially.
So, so that's crazy that he made that for Michael Jackson. And he made Frontin', Jay-Z. Yeah. With him and Jay-Z, you know who he made that for? Who? Prince. So think about the riffs. Think about it.
That does make, yeah, that's crazy. That makes sense. That is a Prince record.
Yeah, if you now when you think about it, it's like, oh yes,
that's crazy.
But Prince didn't want it, so he was like, okay, I'll do it. So all these records that Pharrell, once again, Pharrell. That's why I'm wearing, the ice cream shirt. The Billionaire Boys Club. That's been something that I've been. I wouldn't say obsessed with, but I've been a fan of since 2003 when I couldn't afford to buy it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So once I got my interests haven't changed. What I've been into hasn't changed. Right. So once I was able to get myself financially stable, like, okay, let me start buying some of this stuff, and this is probably what I'm going to be wearing when I'm 60, 70 years old. I'm just gonna be honest, man. That's me.
That's why I rock with Hov so much, because he's our first example in rap to see like you're an OG, you're an older statesman, and you're fly, and it doesn't look like you're out of place. How they be like, man, you trying to be like too hip, trying to be like a young, and it's like, no, you look exactly how it's supposed to look, and you don't look younger, and you don't look goofy as an older person. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And it's like, damn, we finally got our like Paul McCartney and our Mick Jagger and our you know what I'm saying, all the old like rock legends. Like, we finally got that one who's super relevant and who's in his mid-50s. You know what I'm saying? So
no, that's man. Kudos, shout out to Hov, shout out to everybody at Rock Nation. Keep doing your thing. Hopefully, William will be working on a project with you guys one of these days.
Soon.
No. So what advice? I always say this. This is my favorite question of the show. Okay. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give? And you were there. I asked the same question to Brian Hill when we were doing his segment. What advice would you give to that young kid in St. Louis, living in Jennings? Mom doesn't really have enough money. Dad doesn't really have enough money to get him a camera, but scraped up some pennies, got him a camera. What advice would you give him to get to, because that kid wants to be where William is right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. What advice would you give him to get to where you are? Just maybe a little bit faster, or maybe not a little bit faster. Do you feel like they have to go through the experiences that you went through?
I don't, because I went through some BS. We got robbed, the cameras and everything like that. I don't think you got to go. I think like what's important is that like the advice I would give is that, man, do your research. You don't have to necessarily go to school. I didn't go to school. Mm-hmm. I would say like watch as many films as you can if that's what you want to do.
Right.
If you want to be a director and a DP, watch as many films as you can. Watch old films. Mm-hmm. Go to the library, grab. Because that's the things that I did. I watched like 150, 200 films in 1 year.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I would get 3 or 4 DVDs from the big library in downtown St. Louis.
Yeah.
I would go and get 4 of those, and I would watch those twice before I took them back. Okay. And I would go get another 4. And I'm like paying attention to it. So if you do want to be a film director, read the screenplays while you watch the films, so you can see how they took the screenplay and put it on screen.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a music video director, watch as many music videos as you can. Mm-hmm. Watch the good ones. Watch the greats. Watch the Hype Williams.
Hype Williams.
Watch the
Yeah.
Booms.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Watch the the Spike Jones, you know what I'm saying? His old stuff, you know. And then just man, don't try to rush. And I'm telling this to a lot of people. Don't try to rush to get the money so quickly.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna like, in my opinion, gonna hinder your creative upwardness a little bit.
Okay.
Because you're worried about something that has nothing to do with art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you worry about just linking with people and like networking with people and just trying to get into as many spaces as you can with the camera, whether that's a club to shoot a club, or if somebody's shooting a documentary, or somebody wants to shoot like a music video, or you can even be on set with something, just getting as much experience as you can possibly. If you don't have the money to go to school, I don't knock school. I think film school is great. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Somebody who's coming from Jennings, you know what I'm saying, or South Central or Southside Chicago or something like that, and just get around so many people as you can to learn these different facets. And then when you go home at night, take all of those things and just study that.
Nice.
You know, and just, you know what I'm saying, if your environment isn't serving your purpose and you feel like you grinding like out of your mind, man, move somewhere.
Yeah.
Go somewhere where it's like really like going. Like LA is obviously like the Mecca. New York has a really good film scene. Miami has a really good film scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Chicago has a really good film scene. Places like Dallas, Atlanta has a wonderful film scene. Seattle, you know, these smaller markets.
Really?
No, Seattle, yeah. It's a beautiful city, you know. It's just a lot of just different things. But yeah, that would be my advice, you know what I'm saying? Just really just research and link and really just like really hone in on like, and I know like everybody says it's like, you know, like don't listen to the haters and nothing like that, but really like hone in to like what you really like are seeing in your mind.
Yeah.
Like hold to your vision, you know what I mean? And like go to whoever you can and go tell it, and somebody's gonna look at you and be like, you know what, this is, let me see what this is about.
Yep.
Go full throttle into this.
Oh, absolutely, man. And, you know, I appreciate you coming out, taking the time to, you know, sit down with me. Of course, you know, I'm going to be right back in LA probably same time next year. I might not do 4th of July if I'm trying to film because...
Nah, it's a little crazy.
The people weren't as available as they needed to be.
I'm saying early next year maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe like February or something like that.
February's a good time?
Yeah, just because it's like everybody's trying to work in that space, you know what I'm saying? Like it's pilot season. You know what I'm saying? It's not summer, so it's not like everybody want to be outdoors and want to be, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody's kind of in work mode to get to, you know, like the summertime where they can sit back and lay back.
I see what you're saying.
Because everybody that comes out, when I work, when I bring people from St. Louis, Atlanta, Chicago, they usually come in those months, like from January to April.
And that's something I needed to know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That first quarter, you know what I'm saying?
First quarter, awesome. So. But yeah, man, if you guys want to follow William, go ahead and give him your links.
Okay, so IG is the other side films _. What else? We got Facebook, Will Archetype. LinkedIn is the other side films. And TikTok, William Archetype. TikTok.
I'll put all the links in the description. You'll be able to find them if you want to get a hold of them.
It's very similar. We the William Archetype or the other side films. So just shoot me a follow, man.
Awesome. Well, man, appreciate you. Yes, sir. And I'll be back out here in no time, my friend. Yes, sir. You guys know where to find me. Tokyowzc with friends.